Yo, welcome back to Tremonte and Friends Boxing. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we're going to get right into it. I had a few issues, similar issues that people who are in love with boxing, who are in love with the sport and the culture, that I wanted to address lightly today. Not going to go too in depth. The first thing that I want to talk about is judging. Do y'all remember the Canelo Mayweather fight and the judge CJ Ross when she scored the bout a draw? It's one of the most blasphemous things I've ever seen in my life when it comes to boxing or anything scoring, in combat fighting. Just ridiculous. I'm not a fan of firing people because people should have gainful employment to take care of their families. It's their livelihood. People should have a way to support themselves, but she should have been immediately fired and banned for at least like 5 years, because I don't even think it's a matter of what you're seeing. She's not watching the fight. I think she was paid off. I won't get into corruption in boxing because it is a real thing, not just on the higher profile fights, but on the lower level fights, even in like your local circuit. People are paid off to boost certain fighters' resume. And I'm not going to go as far as to say she was paid off in the fight, but there's some corruption there for sure. And I'm not afraid to say it because that's ridiculous. And then she went on to score another fight, I think after that. I can't remember off the top of my head. And she didn't do well either. It's not just her. She's just the one that came to mind. But the judging in fights, if the average viewer at home can sit and watch a fight and be like, okay, this fight's close. Okay, this fight's not that close. And there are so many robberies and close fights that happen. Why can't you, if you're there, tell the difference? You're a paid off judge. Why can't you tell the difference? Hey, y'all gonna put y'all out of a job. That's ridiculous. But judging has been a big issue in boxing for a long time. Some of this stuff, it upsets me as a consumer, and it makes the boxer themselves feel like, what am I fighting for? If on the other side, it's like, I know I didn't do well, but you're scoring it like this. So you never know what's going on behind the scenes. There's something that needs to be rectified for sure. Another issue I have is same-day weigh-ins. There's this like prevailing sentiment that there are weight bullies in boxing. Everybody cuts weight to a degree. Some people just cut more weight. And when you cut more weight, you're cutting muscle as well. One of the people of recent that people were saying as a weight bully is like Devin, because he rehydrates like in the 160s, but he was fighting at 135 for a minute. But if you can cut the weight and you can make the weight healthy, you can do it as long as your body can take it. But some people are cutting way too much weight to where they're cutting down so much that it's ruining their health and it ruins their body long term. People need to fight closer to their natural weight. That way it's fair and it's equitable for everyone, and no one has that much of an advantage when they're fighting. So weigh-ins, some people cut so much, some people have died. Man, you're severely dehydrated. If you've ever cut weight in a short amount of time, you get dehydrated. It's not good for your body because it takes a while for your body to reacclimate and rehydrate to a healthy weight. So that's another one of the issues. Additionally, I would say here, promotional companies. This one is a personal big gripe of mine. If you're signed to Queensberry Promotions, if you're signed to Matchroom, if you're signed to PBC, if you're signed to Top Rank, if you're signed to any of those, Mayweather Promotions, wherever you're signed to, there should be no reason why we as boxing fans should see two fighters when they're young and we'd be like, that fight will never happen. There's no reason that should ever happen. That you should see one potentially great fighter and another one, and they're on two different promotional companies with two different advisors, managers. We're like, yeah, that fight ain't gonna happen. We've done that so much, and that's ridiculous. That's not going to get us anywhere. We're going to regress as a community. And that happens because people are signed to different promotional companies to the point where one person has to go sign with the opponent's promotional company just to make the fight happen. instead of just working in partnership. I don't know what that is. I can't speak to it effectively or in depth, but I just know on the outside, I remember when, not even when Shakur and Javante were about to fight, I was like, yeah, that fight won't happen anytime soon. I'm like, why wouldn't it happen? Just because one person is with the PBC and the other person was with Top Rank? Why can't it happen? Or you see Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Boots Ennis a few years ago. It was like, yeah, that fight won't happen. That should never take place. Should never take place. Now, the good part is Golden Boy Promotions recently said they'll start working with PBC. And so there's been some movement. There's been some movement where promotional companies are starting to work with one another to get the fights made for the fans. And that's a beautiful thing going forward, because a long time we're at a stalemate. So that is an issue we're getting over slowly but surely. And the last thing I have here is belts and sanctioning bodies. So you have the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO. There's sanctioning fees. I remember Errol Spence talked about this publicly when leading up to the Crawford fight. He was like, we're getting charged these fees, but they're not helping out the fighters. And I'm actually a fan of having 4 belts per weight class. I don't think there should be 1 belt, because that means whoever the champion is, they'll basically always be fighting their mandatory, and they won't ever get a break. And you'll have so many different champions if the champion keeps getting beat that I don't think we'll be able to keep up with it. I just think like that super champion stuff, that should go away. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I think the WBC created that. I forgot who was the first person to obtain it. But I don't think there are too many belts, but there are too many divisions. And as a community, I want to know what y'all think were some issues that y'all have with boxing. If I've touched on some of those, let me know what you think about potential solutions or what should happen, or if you think we've made any headway for any of these that I've touched on today. And yeah, that's basically it. I wanted to touch on those 4. There's a gamut of things, topics, discussion that we can really pinpoint, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the channel, share the video, share your opinion. I won't block you unless you're disrespectful, and I'll get with you soon. Peace.